Hey y'all. All right. So I know that there are many of you that are running webinars, workshops, things like that, or you're just getting started with the idea of doing that. Now, I've been doing these automation hours for a while, and this platform that I use to do it is called Luma. And the reason why I chose Luma is because it's super easy and there's a free plan. Yes, there's some Luma branding, there's a little less customization, but I've been using this for over a year and I don't mind, no one else seems to mind. However, there always was one limitation, and that is that if you wanted to automatically get these attendees, right, or people that are registering for your workshop onto your mailing list or your CRM or whatever it might be, the process was always manual. And that's because if you wanted it to be automated, you would have to upgrade here to this Luma Plus plan for $59 a month, and that gives you access to Zapier, and that gives you access to the API. And so personally, I don't really think that it's worth it to upgrade, especially if you're just doing a lot of free workshops and you're not taking advantage of the paid features and you don't need custom URLs and all of that. And so up until this point, I have essentially been copying and pasting people onto my email list every time they register for an event or doing some kind of manual thing in the background. That was until I figured out a little secret, and I want to share that secret with you. And so let me go to Luma for a second and I'll sort of walk through how this works. So I'm just going to create a fake calendar here, actually, so you can see how easy it is. And this calendar is where I'm going to hold all of my my events, right? So you can choose a little color, and I can just do test calendar LCO. Let's see. All right, cool. I can do that. And then what I'll do is I'll create an event. So let's see here, create an event, and then I can call this test event. And there are plenty of things you can do here. You can change the themes. So I kind of like this quantum one. You can change images. You can upload your own image. There's a lot of things that we can do. So let me just pick something fun here. Oh, interesting. All right. I'll just use this one. And then, okay, this is when my event is. Let's make it tomorrow. Easy peasy. Tomorrow at 3:30. You can also instantly add Zoom meetings or select an existing meeting if you have one that you'd like to use. So that's really great. So you don't have to spend all of the time setting that up yourself. So once I create the event here, I'm going to show you a couple of things. One, I'll get an email, that is telling me this event is set up, but then I also want to have guests show up here. So if I go to this event page, let me just copy this URL here. Let me just open up an incognito window, and then we'll see if I can just paste this in. And this is because I want to register with a different email address to kind of get the flow. So I'll click register here, and I'll just say my name's Jesse P, and there we go. And then I am registered. Okay, so if I go to, let me just X out of this. If I go to my inbox, for instance, see that my test event is live on Luma. Amazing. So we don't need that one anymore. And then, okay, I got this registration. And so it says that Jesse Parker has registered for a test event. Actually, I think that is probably the first Jesse Parker. May get another one after that. But the point is that Luma sends you this email, and it just gives a name, and then it gives this person's hyperlinked information, which will take them to their guest account in your Luma account. Okay, not super helpful unless I was copying this email address, right? But we want this to happen automatically. Now, if we aren't using the built-in Zapier integration or having API access, the next logical step would be to try to parse, extract an email address from this email. But as you can see, there is no email address on this email. So what are we going to do? Well, let me show you the magic of automation. And so right here, I am in an app called relay.app. It's similar to Zapier. I just prefer to use Relay when I can because I like the experience of the builder a little bit better, and I like the features, and I like AI and all of that. But the workflow here is going to be very simple. And so let's do add a trigger. And what we want to do is we want to say, okay, every time an email is received that contains, let's just see, what was my subject line? new registration for test event. And so let's go here, contains new registration for test event. It's going to do some filtering and it should just show this one. Amazing. So this is what we just got was, this email. Now, here's the cool thing about this is that what we don't realize is that Luma includes a reply to email address. You would never see that when you're receiving the email, but the reply to email address is always the email address of the person who registered for the event, right? So now that you have that, you don't even need the Zapier integration or whatnot, because you can just add in. So I use MailerLite for my email marketing platform. And so I can choose the reply to email address here. And so what that's going to do, and I can see status and I can add them to a group called leads, whatever it is that I want to do, I can go ahead now and add that registrant to my leads group in MailerLite. So that's how easy it is. And now every time I have a new registrant for that event, they're automatically going to be added to my email marketing list. And this will work with MailerLite, it'll work with ConvertKit, anything that's supported on Relay.app or Zapier, you can set this exact same workflow up there. All right, so I hope this helps. Let me know your thoughts. I'm only going to be sharing this exclusively in the Facebook group and on my email list. I don't want to get too public about it because I don't want to lose this amazing workaround. But yeah, best of luck and happy automating.